Y'all killing me with this.
So, when Brad used to be an actually, let's start with the actual post, right? So, I ended up posting something on Twitter. Bradley, at some point, posted a picture of him and some girl. It was like a female comedian. And in that picture, which you can't see in this Twitter post, he had captioned it like, guess what me and her did, or something like that. You know, one of them engagement farm posts. So my answer to that question was, I quoted the tweet, I retweeted it, and I put, did you pull the old switcheroo on her like you did with Carlos Mencia? Now, I had posted that. I let a couple days go by. I didn't think anything of it. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed, like kind of just seeing like my posts that I had posted through the week, kind of reviewing my work, if you will. And I had noticed on that post in particular, it had said, you're unable to view this post, the one that I had retweeted, because this account owner limits who can view their posts. So that got me curious, because I don't even remember. I was like, who was it? And then I saw the caption that I had put, the old switcheroo, and I go, oh, that's Brad Williams. So I go to end up searching for Brad Williams on Twitter, and I find no results, right? So then I go on Google. I type in Brad Williams. I try to find his Twitter page on Google, and when I come across it, which I will do right now, I click the link, and it says you're blocked. Look at this bullshit. So I come to find out that Brad had saw my retweet of me asking him if he pulled that switcheroo on that girl, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that so much to the point to where he blocked me. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why would he block you over that? Maybe you're asking yourself, what's this switcheroo that you're talking about, right? Let's have a little bit of a story time having to do with Brad. So, if you remember back in like the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s-ish, there was a show called Mind of Mencia. There's a comedian who was very big back then called Carlos Mencia, now known for stealing a lot of jokes from a lot of different people. But back then, before he got outed, the guy was popping. I mean, everybody wanted a piece of him. So he had a very big show on Comedy Central called Mind of Mencia. On the show, they had a midget. That midget's name was Brad Williams. And he did a lot of different skits. They almost tried to make him like a Andy Milonakis from The Man Show, but he was like on Mind of Mencia, you know? So through that, Brad, you know, he starts forming a relationship with Carlos, and they're both comedians, so Brad starts opening for Carlos. He opened for him for like 4 years. Now, in that time, they're spending a lot of time together. They're getting very chummy with each other, pulling pranks on each other probably, you know, seeing who could get one off on the other one. Oh, let's prank this guy. Oh, Brad, I'm going to prank Carlos, blah, blah, blah. They're getting very chummy, very comfortable with each other. Now, they're spending a lot of time on that tour bus, right? So there's this one night, apparently, Carlos gets off the tour bus, and all these girls, they're waiting. They're lining up to try to meet him, to try to maybe potentially get on that bus. So now Carlos, apparently that night, he wasn't feeling it. He wanted to just go to bed. And, you know, he wasn't feeling getting freaky with some random, you know what I mean? But Brad, he wants to climb up that leg and get up that skirt, you know what I mean? So he's like, no, we got to do something. So in the story that Brad tells with his own mouth, they got a girl to come on the bus. They somehow made this girl think that she was having sex with Carlos. And then they pulled the old switcheroo, like I said in my Twitter post, and then Brad jumped in. Now, if you're somebody with half a brain, you already know that that's fucking rape, brother. But Brad was telling this story on a show, you know, back before the cancel culture days. This is like early 2000s. People weren't canceling each other over shit like this. You guys remember Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern. These guys were all saying the craziest shit online. You could not say half of the shit they say now. Anywhere in a public forum, you know? But Brad's telling this story on this show during that time period where he didn't think anything would come of it. Then cancel culture starts happening. People start getting Me Too'd. And clips like this start resurfacing online. But maybe Brad thought that everybody forgot about him. I didn't forget about it. So I'm going to play this clip for you right here. We're going to hear Brad tell this story himself. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's pretty disturbing.
At Phil Vox wants to know, what's the weirdest Carlos Mencia story you've got?
Oh, okay. So, I was Mencia's opener for 4 years.
Ooh, look at that. So this is a show called Getting Doug with Hive. You guys remember there was a dude named Doug Benson. He had a show called he had a documentary called Super High Me. He's a very funny comedian. He's done a lot of stuff, but his big shtick is he gets high as fuck. So he had started a podcast back in the day. I wonder whatever happened to it. I wish it was still around. Where it was called Getting Doug with High. You just sit around with them, get blazed as fuck, and just talk a bunch of shit. So you could see right here, they got a bong. It's as tall as Brad. They're passing that bitch around. There's bowls all over the table. The other co-host has got a bowl. He's ripping the fuck out of that thing. And they got this cue card. It's a question from a fan. Doug asks, what's the weirdest Carlos Mencia story you got? Now, if you're Brad, you could say anything. You could say, like, man, one time we pulled a prank. We, like, farted on some guy's face while you sleep. Anything. You could say whatever. You know? He decides to tell a story about him borderline raping a woman. Let's hear the rest of it.
And,
Do you guys still get along? Are you friendly?
Yeah, we're friends.
So you can say something weird that happened with him that he wouldn't be offended?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, holy shit, man. I couldn't write this better myself. Doug's even asking him. Doug doesn't even know what the story's going to be. Doug is asking him, you got a story? You and Carlos are still cool? You still want to tell this story about him? Whatever it is it's going to be cool that you tell this, you know? This is public. I'm going to post it. I'm not editing this shit out. So I'm going to give, right there, he's giving Brad an out. Brad still decides to tell this story. What the fuck is this?
Okay, go.
We were on a tour bus together, and he got this girl was like on the bus and just really wanted to sleep with Carlos, and was in the back of got on the bus, actually blew our driver to get on the bus, and then was...
Who are you, Kiss?
So now, this is very, very telling here. This woman is obviously, she's desperate to do anything to meet Carlos. This is who this girl thinks that she's about to see. According to Brad, this girl wanted to see Carlos so bad, she was willing to blow his fucking fat, retarded driver. That's saying a lot. That you really want to meet this guy. So to have this little man pull that kind of shit on you, it probably ruined this woman's life. Listen to this.
Apparently. She was in the back
That is
waiting.
sexy driver.
I tour with the wrong people. Nobody's getting blown.
So she was. So she's in the back, and Mencia's married. He's not going to do anything. So he turned off all the lights, and then sent me in. And then I started hooking up with the girl. And it went for a good 15 minutes before she realized that, I mean, Mencia's tiny, but he shouldn't have stubby arms like that. And then finally she realized that she was having sex with me.
Okay, now, very depraved shit right here coming out of this guy's mouth. This guy might be a bigger villain than Nikocado Avocado. So now to refresh you on what the hell just came out of this dude's mouth. Carlos is married. He doesn't want to hook up with this chick who just blew a driver to get onto the bus. Right there, she's out. In anyone's book, she's out, man. You steep yourself down to the driver level. I mean, you're not fit to be on this bus, lady. That doesn't stop Brad. Brad, he wants to get in them guts. So now Brad he came up with this brilliant idea. Carlos, we're going to prank this girl, dude. This is going to be so awesome, man. We're going to turn off all the lights, and then I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to, really give it to her, I'm going to really, yeah. And she's not going to even know the difference, man. And you're married. You don't have to worry about it. You just sit in the next room, man. Now, the co-hosts hear this. Right away, they're like, what the fuck did you just say? Listen, the one co-host right away calls him out. It's probably the greatest thing I've seen all week. Watch this.
That's kind of, I feel like that's like a rape story.
What the fuck? Get him. We got to get him.
FBI, open up!
This guy needs to go to jail. Look at the face on him. He's like, yeah, I did it. This guy is fucking insane. Now, listen to his defense on this. I get it, where everyone's trying to be funny. But right away, this guy is like, I don't know, this one might not be funny, man. Like, if this is true, you might be fucked, dude. Listen to this.
Not in a technical sense.
I think technically it is. Well, I hope this was over 7 years ago.
It was.
Okay, right there. Now listen to this. This is very depraved shit. When the co-host brings this up to Brad, Brad's defense is, well, not technically. It's not technically rape. Is it? And right away, the guy's like, yeah, it's technically, actually, technicalities are like what we're mostly working on here. You raped her, okay? You did it. Sorry, you're guilty. If you don't have statute of limitations on that shit, you're fucked, my man. I'm telling you that right now. Because, once again, we're not editing this out. Listen to this one more time. This is insane.
Sense?
I think technically.
Listen to this.
Not in a technical sense.
Not in a technical sense.
Well, I hope this was over 7 years ago.
It was. The statute of limitations are good.
It was good being here. Nice knowing you, Brad.
See, this guy, he wants nothing to do with Brad now. This guy's like, dude, I gotta get the fuck away from you, bro. Like, if you're willing to do that to some, random chick that you don't give a fuck about, you're obviously depraved in the head, my friend. This is something that normal people, they just don't do, okay? So, now, a lot of people, you could chalk that up to be like just a regular old, oh, he was trying to be funny, right? But here's my question. If he was trying to be funny, why would he block me on Twitter for saying that? Like, that right there, to me, kind of doesn't make sense. Let's not forget right here, I can't see this guy's shit. And just because I said that one line to him, if I didn't do something like that, I would just brush that shit off. Well, you can't touch me, dude. The shit was, this shit's not true. You could bring it up 1,000,000 times. They had Carlos talk about it. Carlos is like, I would never do something like that. Let's say it did happen in real life. You're all going to say it didn't happen. Everybody there is going to, what, do you all want to go through the trials? Of course you don't. So my question again, why block me? If you're so innocent, why block me, Brad? It was just a joke. So let's give it up to Brad. Brad Williams, there we go. Blocking me on Twitter. It'll be a while. I'll create a burner. We'll keep tabs on Brad. I got your number, Brad. You ain't going to get away from us that easy. So what else we got on the docket today?
And hold my fart like a bong rip.